lesser known features. Well, there's some lesser known dance moves if I've ever seen any.
Those were my best dance moves.
That's how you landed your wife, right?
Exactly. That's a swoon.
We're going to be taking you guys through some of the features, again, lesser known. So should we just jump in?
Absolutely.
Let's
Number
do
one.
it. All right. So the first one, again, if you go up and take a look in the right here, I'm going to try and use the, here we go. Right there, you can alter your grid on what you're seeing. So go ahead and pop that up. So again, you can choose all the different columns, but did you know you can actually, what was that? Oh, okay. All right, sorry. You can actually fix some columns so that when you're scrolling to the right, they don't scroll off the page. So again,
so if you come in and you choose
I'll click uptime, and
current
it's
user
going
and
to.
uptime, you can see it makes it static in the list behind it there.
So if you close this and then start scrolling to the right, you'll notice the 3 fixed columns that we chose. Stay there.
It's that one's pretty simple to use, but it makes everything easy. If you spend a lot of time in inventory, which you should,
Yes, you should.
then you can really make that useful for you.
Definitely.
Yep.
So that's one of them. I personally don't spend enough time altering my grids, but
So what I used to do when I first started was I would come down and choose one that I wanted, and then manually click the up arrow over and over till I had it second, and then every time I scanned it was or scrolled, it was gone again. So I would like to say that I've been using this for a long time, but
so if you were to click memory, it's going to automatically move it all the
if
way
you
to the
click the
top.
up arrow
at
with
this
the
point
highlighter, yep, it moves it up for you.
Okay, but
it
if
does
you click-
not make it static in place.
Oh, okay. But the fix, if I grab manufacturer, click fix on that, it'll move it right to the
Automatically moves
top.
it up for you. Yep.
All right. Good enough.
All right.
Gotta love customizing grids, huh?
Yeah. It's my personal favorite.
It really. That was pretty weak. That was pretty weak. How about let's talk about more in inventory. Let's talk about you can uninstall from inventory. So if you pull up a machine and you right click, you can hit uninstall.
Just opens up the command window.
Again, with this one, you got to remember if it's an exe file, you do need to provide the silent parameters. It's just the way it is. You want it to run silently. But if it's MSI, we already provide the /qn and the no restart.
So from here, either you could run it and install it, which I suppose we'll do now, or you can save the tool if it's something you'll be uninstalling a lot.
You really want to install that many? You could make a package. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Make a package, yes. So save the tool is run as a tool, or you can, if you right click on it, there is a create uninstall package in PDQ deploy.
Heck, that one. Now, when it creates the package, it's basically going to take and build a command step, which has that uninstall string in it. So
if the uninstall string is, if it's within the program files window and you have a 32-bit and a 64-bit, you're going to want to make sure you get both steps in there, or else it's only going to, like if it's a 64-bit version of the install, it will fail with the 32-bit one.
Once again, right here is where that command is. That's putting in the command step. If it's an exe, make sure you provide the silent parameters.
Yep. Which usually they'll have documentation for the specific product on
Absolutely.
which ones they use.
Google foo, my friends, Google foo. So, anything else on uninstall and stuff?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay, I will say this. If you don't provide the uninstall silent parameters, it's going to run until it times out. So if you get that error, look for your parameters.
It's a quick one to do. I guess if you run it as a tool with those steps and it works, then just you can create the package out of it. It looks like Jason has.
Another thing to make sure when you're looking at all those commands, don't just look at one computer because you might have a different uninstall string per computer. So you can't just assume that uninstall string for that application is going to work for every one you deploy to.
Really?
Okay. No, it's good just because a lot of times the creating the uninstall is very useful. If it is a product where they have a lot of different variables or install locations, then it's going to be more complex than just creating the uninstall package.
That is a good point. That is a good point. Do we have any questions, or should we roll to the next? Oh, let's have a question.
Dear Lex and Jordan, what's the best way to version check a specific application when making a collection? Sincerely, William, don't call me Bill, Z.
Hey, not Bill Z. Well, let's build a collection in inventory. Now, the one of the big things about let's do a dynamic connection.
Yeah, I'm a professional.
You said that twice today now,
Yep.
except once you used it on me. So when you're looking for, let's say, we're going to look for what application?
KP table. Well, what we just did Adobe Reader, right?
Yeah, let's look for just anything with Adobe in it. Now, when you're doing a version, you're looking for versions, you want to make sure you also do a filter and you select version, you do a version comparison. Most versions have, number, dot, number, dot, number, dot, number. And so that's really not a number string, but if you use the version comparisons, we evaluate that and should be able to. Honestly, I have no idea what a version number would be.
For Adobe, yeah, I guess.
Let's do higher than, and we'll do higher than 1 because everything should be higher than 1. And then we'll pull one up. So
You should start.
So if we pop one of these open, we'll take a look and then we'll filter it down a little bit. Let's look at Beth. Hanks, what do you got, man?
This is another good place to use a report where you can actually show all the different version numbers on different columns.
Efficiency?
I know, right?
Well,
like when you run an application report, if you just wanted to filter down into one application or look at it, you can see all that, where this is going to give you a list of computers
me
based
pull that up real
on
quick.
the criteria of that version. So if you're looking for higher than,
So
lower than, or
you're
equals.
looking for reports, and you go to reports, and then we'll go to applications. And then we've already got it grouped by, but here we go. Adobe, what were we looking for, Reader or Flash?
We just specified Adobe.
We just, okay, so
Works.
29, so we'll say anything greater than 29.
Yeah.
So the big thing on your versions is you want to make sure you use the version comparison on those version numbers.
Yeah. So if instead of using what I built, if you built one that just looks for everything Adobe and one of the columns is version, you could from that way pull every version you have out in your network.
That's true. That is true. Hopefully we got that one for you, but use the version comparison. Any other questions?
Oh.
Okay.
Dear Lex and Jordan, to help me keep a cleaner database, can Deploy automatically delete old schedules that will never trigger again? Thanks, Kathleen F.
I don't
No.
I don't believe so.
No, I don't think it does. I think we leave that to you because I would hate to automatically delete something that you just wanted to sit there for a while.
I guess if you're comfortable with SQL, you could have something that runs in the background that looks at the next runtime, and if it's blank, delete it. But that's messing with the database, and I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'd be really comfortable with what you're doing before I attempt something like that.
I like the way you said I'd be really comfortable with it. I would be really cautious is what I would do. So, yeah, I mean, you could write a SQL to do it. Hanks, what do you think, man?
Yeah, the thing that's scary about that too is sometimes you create a schedule and you might want to keep it to reference for something else that you want to do, like to build something else. So to have that automatically delete and then lose that, really not efficient either.
Yeah. Let's see. Do we have any schedules out here right now?
I don't know.
Nope.
So, and another thing is, even if you come back and use it later, you'll lose the history if you delete it and you have to remake it.
That's a good point. You can disable them, though. Right-click on the schedule and hit disable. Or unenable. Remove the enable. Disable.
One of those.
Yeah. Anyway.
Make it go slightly gray.
Yeah, not green.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, speaking of, we've got some deployments here. I don't know, this may not be a lesser known fact, but an easy way to do a redeployment, let's say we wanted to redeploy, right here, man.
Oh,
Check it out. Just right-click on that and hit redeploy. From a target that's already been deployed or even from one that failed, you can restart that deployment.
Yeah, and that has to be a starting point. If there's a computer you forgot, you can also go through and add them after. It doesn't start deploying instantly, it just opens up the window for you.
Very good. And if you were to hit deploy, it would do that. Now, before we go any further, what if I wanted to add more packages to this deploy once?
This is something we recently added.
Is it new one?
So hopefully people are using this. If not, you should start using it. You can actually choose packages and you can add additional packages, and it will just go down the list. It can't deploy to the same machine simultaneously, but it will go down the list and install all the packages you want if you create the list there.
So boom, boom. This one will do DC. Now, you don't have to necessarily, like I said, we just started the redeploy, which kicks up the deploy once window. Okay. If you were to go to a regular deploy window, you'd have the same option.
Absolutely.
So you can deploy more than one package from a deploy once window and clean them out. Also, just like that.
Yeah, just hit the trash can there.
Hit the trash can.
Right.
Okay. All right. So let's say you wanted to share some stuff with me. Exporting.
Okay. All right. Well, I just built this awesome collection that
Called Test. That
Test.
Pulls anything with Adobe with a version greater
definitely
than
want
one.
to share this with the world.
Wow. Okay.
So you could actually just Control E on the keyboard if it's highlighted, and it will export as a XML, which I can send over to anyone.
Pop
and
that
import
up on
it.
the desktop for us. Yeah. File XML. That's a great name. I
That's
know
a-
exactly what that means.
It's, I'm an expert at this, not professional.
All right.
Expert.
So
All right,
you
so-
can export that. Now, an import, again,
Just Control I, or there's a option through the file menu to import.
select it. There it is. It will import it. Now, we can do the same thing with packages. Okay, so let's show you a package export. And do that one to the desktop. Do Notepad++, because I want to show something about doing a package export.
Right click. There's just export right there with the Control
Control E.
shortcut. Yep.
Yep.
So, desktop. This one's actually properly named for it. That's
Well, I
very useful.
love that. Yeah, it's actually okay. So no, go pull that up. Do properties on that. I want to see the size of that. And the reason I'm bringing this up, look, that's 7.1 KB. What does that tell you?
It does not have an install file.
There is the install files are not included. So if you were to send this to me in email or tell me to go grab it, I would also need to go get those install files and put them in the same location on mine. So in the repository.
Yeah, wherever your repository is, you just need
So,
to put it in there.
again,
Find it.
The XML is there, but let's go look at the repository really quick. The repository for this, oh, wrong button. Okay, Notepad++. The install file that's not in here is not included, okay? So you got to make sure you grab the install file. So if we did it with 7-zip.
It's in there. You're going
Oh.
to the folder
You're right, I'm
hierarchy.
looking
It's not
for
going to look at
folder.
files.
Yeah, that's a good
So if
point.
you click the
Oh,
other icon,
I see how
open
it
up
is.
the folder.
Show me how, there it is. Okay,
There's the
so
install
that file is not included in that XML export, so that will need to be sent along with it. What do you got, Jason?
Yeah, it's great too. While you're there, show that repository variable, the $sign repository, so you can use it in your packages as you're building your own stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
And that way, if you ever have to change the path or you decide to go to DFS, you could just change that that path there.
So the repository there, that one there.
Yep, the repository variable, which,
Is that system or yep,
yep,
just
right
system.
there. That would be a great place, so you have one place for the repository to sit, so when you move the stuff, it's universal, is what Jason's basically saying.
Efficient.
Efficiency, once again, efficiency. Now, you highlighted something. Jordan, what did you highlight?
So I highlighted the C unused files.
Okay.
This is basically if we deleted Notepad, it would just basically create the list of files down here. So the installer. So if we re-imported that package after deleting the files, it would actually still have the install file because it's sitting here in the repository. But the problem with that is if you never keep that clean, you can use up quite a lot of space if you're using, like, especially our Windows updates or rather large files.
Okay. So you could clean these up from here?
Yeah, you can come here. You could get rid of the ones that you're not planning on using anymore, or if there's ones that you want to keep no matter what, you can actually put them in
The exclude file,
That's
and
just
they
the
will
button.
show, okay, and then delete the
Button
rest
over
of them
there.
to clean things up.
Yep, you can also exclude entire directories. That way, you don't accidentally delete the install file. So if you bring the package back in, it will work right out the gate.
Okay, so we exported, got to send the install files with the XML file, okay? And now we're at the repository cleanup. I just want to make sure everyone's following, because that was
Yeah. We kind of went
quite
all
the
over
jump.
place.
So you can clean up your repository, and we do tag the ones that aren't used so that you can clean those up and delete them.
Just choose the one you want. And it's just hit
Delete it.
delete
Boom.
it there. Yep.
It cleans it up. 35 meg. We just saved some disk space.
Absolutely. So, but if there are ones that you come back to often, it is worth setting exclusions so you don't accidentally clean those ones up.
Yeah,
so you
that
have
is a
to
good
re-download.
point. Good point. We'd
Yeah,
love
absolutely.
to take a question.
Dear Lex and Jordan, is there a way to create a package to automatically deploy the PDQ agent on a heartbeat trigger? I have not seen it listed in the package library, only in the right-click menu in inventory when clicking on specific computers. Thanks, Kyle C.
Okay, is there a way to do it?
So we don't have anything official yet, but within inventory, if it's online or with a heartbeat, you can just right-click and do an install agent and do that. We don't have a package for it yet because agent isn't really in deploy yet, so it's kind of a...
Well, and the other thing is iterations at this point. The nice thing is this takes care of it for you very simply. And to do a heartbeat,
Well, also the install file, when you do it from the computer, it give certain information about the computer name that tells it how to check it.
That's a good point.
So if you just deployed it as just that one, it wouldn't know.
Boom.
You'd need to also send over
The config file
the
with
config
that.
file, which you
That's-
can generate.
And you do that manually by
Manual install file there. But whereas on a heartbeat, it would be hard. You'd have to have an install file for all your machines.
every single machine. That's a good point.
And have it. So it's
Not an efficient, I'm using Hank's word, way to do it.
yeah. I suppose it might be possible to have some sort of script that looks in the repository where you have all the install files and finds what you're looking for.
Would you want to write that script?
Not only it would be unpleasant to write, and if there's a next version up there, you might have to redo the whole.
That's a good point.
Replace all the install files. It's probably easier just to use inventory when they come online to do it.
What do you got, man?
Yeah, I mean, there is a generic config file now, so you
Okay.
can build a deploy package and set it on a heartbeat, but again, it's not. You'd have to have a good list of targets that don't have the agent and create a collection for that. Use that.
Okay. So, okay. It's possible. It'll take some work. I'm not going to do it. Then again, I'm the laziest sysadmin you will ever meet, so.
Yep. I suppose if there was I'm not even going to go down the road. We don't have anything like that. No.
No?
You could probably make one with the tools we have.
Okay. We got another question, or should we keep rolling on our list?
Dear Lex and Jordan, if we made an MSI out of an EXE using ORCA, will this work with the built-in parameters that deploy plugs in on MSIs? Sincerely, Jason A.
And I'm not sure of that because I think the parameters we pull are just because those are universal. I think, and I can't guarantee.
I haven't
on
played
this
with
one.
ORCA enough to know that if it will automatically feed the right.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
something
I don't know. I'll drink to being stumped on that.
Yeah, I do not
skull.
know.
There
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
go. If anybody online knows, please
I
chime in
bet
on that
Colby's
one.
done it.
Colby's done pretty much everything.
Good job, Jason. You won our game today. Stump the hosts.
Stump the chumps is pretty much. That's a
the
nice
chumps.
way of saying that.
This is the nice day to do it. We've got the B squad out.
Ow. Ow. Yeah, let's do another one. We got to redeem ourselves. Oh,
No,
okay.
all right.
All right, okay. So packages. Let's go look at. So I built a baseline package in deploy. And I really
Did you-
baseline, right? Oh, Jason built that one and spelled it like I would normally. Baseline. Want to change the icon on that so I know it's one that's. Let's say I wanted all the packages I build have a certain icon on it.
Yep.
To change the icon, you
Right click or item prints or Control Shift F2 if you want the
control.
shortcut.
I dare you to keep that in your mental Rolodex.
I don't think anyone would really use it enough to have that memorized, but this is the select list. We don't currently have the ability to add your own icons, but these are...
Look at the ones we've got. They're amazing. Now, I built that package so it should have a golden key on it because it does everything perfectly, right?
It makes sense to me. I have no reason to doubt it.
You have no reason to doubt it.
We'll even make it a section header.
I love it. There it is. Boom. Okay, so we changed the icon. So again, if you're building your own packages or you just get tired of seeing the ones out there, you can change the icon. So at least this way you know I built that one and it should work great.
Yeah, if you have enough packages where it's hard to keep track when the folder structure is getting complex, that's something that could help you pick out the ones
Just
that you use most
another
often.
lesser known feature, huh?
Right,
Okay.
are we ready for that question, or we just want to... Okay.
Dear Lex and Jordan, are there recommended settings to help optimize the database for both inventory and deploy? Unless never deleting data is what Lex recommends. Thanks, Chris G.
Whoa, Lex always recommends deleting stuff and then regretting some of the stuff you shouldn't delete it afterwards. But it really is going to depend, and this is all opinion, because really what you store and what I store, it depends on what you want. I try not to maintain too much history because, obviously database size is going to come into play for performance, right? Now, if I've got 100 machines I'm maintaining versus 1,500 machines I'm maintaining, I can store more data, you know what I'm saying? So, what are your thoughts?
On that one, that's something that's whatever's best for your environment. Every environment's different.
Yeah.
We do have the optimize that can clean up old records and
Orphan
records,
and
but
that kind of thing.
as far as
I would run at least once a month. I mean, it couldn't hurt.
yeah, but as far as what to keep in there to keep it optimized, it's just
That's up
whatever
to you,
works for
yeah.
you. Yeah.
Absolutely. So there's a really non-direct answer for you. Kinda. So, all right. So I'm dealing with a lot of laptops.
Okay.
Okay, they go on and off. Plug it into the machine, the desk docking station. I go to a meeting. I now have multiple IP addresses. So how can I set my network settings?
So if you open preferences, I used Control comma, but you can also go through, I think, option. You know, I've never gone to preferences. I think it's options preferences.
It is options preferences. Really, you just like keep.
Control comma. It's so
It's
easy. Yeah.
Okay.
But from within there, you can use this test multiple addresses. That's if a laptop's gone on and off the network and it has multiple entries. It will ping all of them and
As soon as it gets an answer, like, oh, I found it. So that's a good one. Again, a lot of us do deal with laptops that are moving either building to building or off a docking station into a meeting, back to the docking station. So that's a good way to test that. Do we have any more questions? Okay.
Dear Lex and Jordan, what is the rule of thumb for adding a sleep step in a package? I've had to add sleep steps for slower computers to allow the current install to finish, but I noticed PDQ-made packages generally do not have a sleep step. Thanks, Anthony C.
We should really bring Katie back from that one for
Katie,
support meeting.
thanks for that.
So
sleep steps and packages.
those are difficult because our sleep step isn't constantly checking. It is a static amount of time.
Yeah.
So if you have a bunch of slow computers, some slower than others,
You may want to reset the timeout.
Yeah.
Because extend the timeout for, let's say like an Office install takes significantly longer than a 7-zip install, and if it's going to blast past your default timeout, you may want to extend that. But sleep steps,
so if you're looking for something that's more reactive to how the speed of the computer, if it is a PowerShell step, you could put in basically your test whatever you're looking for to show up,
okay,
in a loop until it shows up, and that would make the pause as long as it needs to be until it shows up. But if outside
that would
of
be a dynamic pause as opposed to
so outside of
sleep
a PowerShell
is-
step, I'm not sure of a way to fine tune it for slower machines.
Yeah, sleep step. Usually, shouldn't your? I mean, from what I understand, my install runs. It finishes with a return code, and then it goes to the next step.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know that. Hank, what are your thoughts?
Most of the packages I've ever built that had to have a sleep step, the computer was in the middle of doing some sort of reboot from an installation that I was pushing.
Okay.
So I was waiting for that computer to finish doing everything and come back to allow that next step to take place.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
so
a-
you
Where I
just,
think
it's
most of
a
the
non-
packages, most of the packages in our package library are doing everything silently and not really interfering with or restarting the computer or dropping the connection, doing anything
Oh,
like
so
that.
you're looking for like a non-controlled reboot as opposed to a reboot step, which will reboot and wait for the machine to come on. It's like there's a reboot step in this install, and I'm now just waiting till it
Yeah,
comes back.
or if you're pushing a package as you're testing everything out, like I used to disable the steps in a multi-step package and test each one of them out and make sure they all worked first. So if I did something that it would finish, but maybe it would fail, and I'd go to the target machine, I'd notice that it was there and it was working and everything was great, I'd add a sleep step to let it finish, and maybe that return code come back after.
Yeah, but as far as whatever works best for you, that's another one that just depends on the computer you're sending to.
Yeah. Okay. All right, copying a selection of computers from inventory and pasting them into deploy. So we're going to do a deployment, but we already know what we need from inventory, which is these guys that are in our test
Yep, so if we were sending to a collection, but we weren't
we only
using
wanted half the people in there.
half the people, yep, you can just choose the computers you want and Control C or
Copy.
copy if you want to right click, and then to deploy. If you go to deploy once for baseline, just in where it says 0 targets, in that window there, just go in there and you can paste it in, and it will grab all the computers for you.
Everything that you copied from inventory, right on in there.
It's another quick way to grab a list of computers on the fly.
Absolutely. All right, so in the inventory, you've got our collections, right? And some of those collections you just don't need, right? I mean, just because you don't, let's go to the collection library. A, B, C, it's not even alphabetical, is it?
Nope, I was getting there.
Okay,
So,
so-
and this is one we may have covered as last hidden feature, but if you weren't paying attention, then we're discovering it again.
All right, so let's rediscover. Let's hide all of imaging real quick. So let's say I don't use any imaging stuff. So you right click on that. and you go to hide library collections. Okay, now I don't see it, but if I go and
Up at the top there and just type in. Ooh. And then there's a box on the bottom that says the shows hidden results. And
okay, there they are.
they'll bring up all of them.
And I can right click and bring those back. Okay, there we go. They're back. So, and then
The search and
is there another way we can do that?
to show the hidden one. I mean,
Yeah.
there's the setting to show hidden items,
Okay.
which I don't think I needed to go there at all.
So right here under collection, right? Hold this
Well,
guy.
there, I'm just going to the display hidden collections
Okay.
on the bottom there. If you check that, then even if you hide it, it will show up grayed out on the left there.
So also, if you've got your collections, and then you have the hidden tab for any of the ones that are hidden.
Yep.
So you can see them there also.
So 3 different ways. So if you hide something you intend to, you can bring it back
You
without
can find
too
it
much
without
trouble.
having to search for it. So, all right. We got another question, yeah?
Dear Lex and Jordan, is there a limitation depth to nested packages? Right now I've got 3. Can I go deeper? Andrew H.
So this is actually a test that Colby's done. I don't know the exact number, but I believe he has over, and he'll probably put the number in the chat. But he has over 100, I believe. But there's a number where it starts having problems. I'm not sure what that is off the top of my head.
So and we're doing like Inception with packages here.
Yeah,
is
so
that
it's a
it?
nest within a nest, and he went surprisingly deep with the nesting before we ran into issues. I don't know the exact number.
It
off the
was
top of my head.
significant. More than 10?
More than 10. Yes.
More than 10? A lot more than 10? So, yeah, you can nested
Yeah,
packages
it
in
can
nested.
go pretty far in. Yeah.
Wow, okay. I dare you to keep track of that. All right, so the other thing in inventory, we can change the scan user, who the user profile that is scanning a machine. So right now, if you go and look at,
Just right click select scan user.
currently Quintana is the person that the scan user that is added bird person. And now we selected fake user. I can tell we spend a lot of time putting some thought into this, huh?
That is how we're so good at this.
That's how we do this, huh?
So another advantage of that, other than just making it so you can scan to computers that don't use the same credentials, is if you are deploying something, you can actually tell it to use inventory scan user credentials.
That is amazing. I love that.
So yeah, if you have a wide variety like that, or if you use laps, but there's
Laps.
multiple laps users,
Or multiple domains.
yep, you could just check that box, and whatever is set in inventory, deploy use those credentials.
Yep, and that's a great way to go after those
Yeah.
things. So
That one we probably should start with that one. I love that feature.
I do. It's one of my favorites because I get it set correct in inventory. I don't have to think about it anymore in deploy. Again, it's the efficiency thing, isn't it? Yeah. Should we have another question?
Dear Jordan and Lex, is there a way to determine if a computer is online because it is on the LAN or if it's because the computer is on but the agent is reporting in? Sincerely, Jeremy O.
Absolutely.
So within that one, actually, we got to go back to our filters
Customize
real
our
quick.
grid, yeah.
So we have agent
Agent.
last seen and agent status.
Yeah. Bring those back up to the top. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll use that.
We use the fix thing to move them both.
No, click on another thing. So if you have that one in there, these are mostly uninstalled. But with the agent status, it lets you know if it's internal or external.
Mhm.
And the agent last seen is the last time
You
that
checked
the
in.
agent has checked in, which I think the default is five or 10
It's 5 minutes.
5
I think
minutes.
it's 5 minutes. Depending on, you get your console check, you got your, there could be a, perfect storm where it's significantly more
Yeah.
than
So,
that.
but
yeah.
the agent status will let you know if
Mhm.
it is internal or external right there. And then if the last seen is old, then chances are the computer's off, but it also shows off right at that
There
point.
you go. Yeah. So, exporting reports.
Export reports,
Okay, so being able to automatically export a report to a CSV file, because we get a lot of questions about that. So you go and build an auto report. So basically, you build your schedule. Okay,
Yep. So right here we have the name, the path where I want the file to go to.
this report is automatic. Really?
Yeah. That's I lose myself if I don't have very specific information.
Oh, is that okay? All right. So
All right, and then the file name. For that, I just actually went to the variable X that we went over earlier, and we'll highlight that poorly.
and the great thing about those variables is it's going to let you know the report name and the date it was run in the title of the file, or you could actually overwrite the existing file if it was something you were going to use consistently, like you had another process running against it.
And then you want to choose from the format what type you are, so CSV. So if you have, I'll pull a real life example. If you have information you need to import into Active Directory, but the tools you have don't have a built-in sync, if you could use this to export the data you're looking for into a CSV, and then with PowerShell import it in Active Directory. That is far from the ideal way to do it, but
now the other thing is, at this point you would pick a report, right? Yep. So now we just attach the report we want and new report. Our new automatic report. Wow.
It's an automatic
report. We are creative here today.
It's an automatic report that is new. It's
a new automatic report.
So, yep, and then from there you can set whatever trigger you want. Or if you don't want it to go to a file share, you can mail the report
mail it, yep.
to whoever's looking for that information.
Yeah, spam somebody automatically if you want.
That's right.
Do we have any more questions?
Our final question of the day, is there a way to automatically install a package when a computer appears in a specific collection? Sincerely, Philippe B.
Is there a way to automatically install a package when a computer appears in a specific...
So,
that would be a schedule of sorts.
Not run right off the bat, but you can have a schedule and deploy that runs against a collection.
You can have a super aggressive schedule.
So it would go in and the deploy would check the check the filter. If you did this, you'd want to set the box to say do not deploy if it deployed once in case it fails to move the computer out of there. But you can have deploy run against a collection, and so anytime something moved down there automatically, the next time that ran it would install.
So our targets, we link to, let's say we're going to go to our really cool, where did that thing end up?
But that's an interesting idea, having it...
So what I would do if you wanted to automatically, and again, it's not going to be automatically when it shows up, but again, you just have the interval really short. So,
and yeah, if you do that
I would do 1 minute.
I know, but point it to a collection, you want to give it time to run. But yeah, so as short as you want, it'll check in. If there's computers in there, it will start to run, and then if you have the last box checked for
It's under options, I think. Stop
deploying once they succeed. So if it reports back successful, then it will still exclude those.
And the other thing is, I'd probably have it if it was like, let's say you were aggressively going after replacing Adobe, have it scan afterwards, because then it would move. Let's say it was doesn't have the current version of Adobe, it would move at that point out of that schedule. So,
or you could do a post step to where after it finishes installing, it will have a PowerShell go through and move it for you once it's done.
So there's a couple ways to go after that one, but again, you'd have to set a really aggressive schedule against that collection. So,
yep. All right, looks like Jason's got.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that a little bit last week in our webcast, Lex, where if you have a schedule linked to a collection and then it installs that software. So like I'd reimage a computer, have that computer would get scanned in inventory and automatically populate all those collections. Those schedules are only going to kick off if that collection is filled, and I had everything set to run like every hour. But we've had customers in support and on the forums too, they use like a security group, and they say, I'm going to put the computer in the correct OU, but I'm going to add it to a security group, set up a baseline schedule, and then I'm going to have that kick off based on the security group. That's what my collection is going to be based on. Then the last step of that baseline schedule, the baseline applications would be a command to remove it from that security group so that it would come out of the collection.
So basically you'd PowerShell, like Jordan was saying, move it to where it belongs.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, well, a lot of different ways up that trail, huh?
Yeah,
Top
so
of that mountain.
As far as having something kick off by inventory, when something was in there, I don't know a way to
You'd have to do it on a heartbeat schedule. That's about the only thing, but the machine have to go from offline state to an online state for inventory to automatically kick it off.
Yeah, I think just an aggressive schedule is as close as you're going to get.
Yeah. Now that we beat that question to death, appreciate you guys watching.
Thanks for tuning in.
Appreciate you watching us. Catch y'all later.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Congratulations, Kyle C. and William Z. Winners of PDQ swag. Send us your info at webcast@pdq.com. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to our support and our forums. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week.